Jake here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today I'm checking out the Barton Industries Short Throw Shifter with the aluminum stick and black shift knob for TR6060 equipped 2009 and newer Hemi Challengers. If you're one of the lucky people who owns a Challenger with the Tremec TR6060 manual transmission, you've probably also been unlucky enough to miss a few shifts during your ownership. Challenger shifters are notoriously a little bit finicky or even sometimes described as sloppy, so that 2 to 3 upshift or the 5 to 4 downshift is often a little bit tricky. So if you've got yourself a manual 2009 or newer Challenger and you're looking to improve the shifting and your overall driving experience, you really should take a look at this. Now, let's get something out of the way right off the bat. A short throw shifter itself is not going to make your car faster. However, going with the right one can dramatically improve not just the act of changing gears, but the overall driving experience as well. And really, that's what modifying your cars is all about. Now, I love short shifters when they're done right, and this one is definitely done right. Barton claims a 44% reduction in the length of the throw, and the whole thing has some really nice features overall. It has these firm centering springs, which Barton claims are unique in the market, and they're meant to reduce the slot from the factory gear selector rod by helping move the linkage back into that 3/4 gate and keeping it all nice and aligned in the center. This is a full replacement shifter, meaning that you don't need to transfer any of the dust boots or bushings from your original shifter. Barton has also isolated the handle to keep this one quiet, so there's no rattling around or clanging of metal like you can get with some other shifters out there. Speaking of which, the moment you pick this thing up out of the box, I think you're gonna be impressed. I was. It has some serious heft to it. The bushings feel nice, and it's gonna help eliminate any slop that your stock setup has. And the whole thing is made from billet aluminum and stainless steel. Now, the stick itself is this beautiful polished aluminum piece with the Barton name engraved on both sides, and the shift knob is this smooth, black, almost pool ball type of thing. And it does have a little bit of weight to it, though it isn't what you'd call heavy. But good news is, this is just a standard threaded stick, so you can always change out the knob if you want to go with something later that has a little bit more weight to it. Another nice feature I want to point out is that you also have the capability to adjust the pitch of the shift lever itself. So, once you get this thing assembled, if you decide you want to move the lever back towards you, you can do that. Or if you like that canted forward old school muscle car style, you can lean it towards the front of the car. The adjustability is really great, and it's easy to do as well. You just loosen this one bolt right here, so you can change it up when you see fit. Without a doubt, this is a high quality piece, and it's going to last, which is especially important since you're gonna be spending a good chunk of money on a single modification. Which brings us to the price. Coming in at around $625, it certainly isn't cheap. However, when it comes to full replacement short shifters for your Challengers, you really don't have a lot of options, and there are some that are going to be more expensive. The Barton shifter is really a lovely product for the money, and according to Challenger owners, this is an excellent one to get. Now, as far as installation goes, this one comes in at a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty scale. While it will require some disassembly to get your stock shifter out and some assembly, obviously, of this new shifter, it is a job that is easily accomplished at home and should take you a little over an hour or so to get it all buttoned up. And to show you exactly how to get this done on your Challenger, let's head on over to the install bay and we'll walk you through it step by step.
Tools used for this installation: 3/8 shallow socket, 8mm Allen, 3/8 to 1/4" drive adapter, 1/4" drive ratchet, 8, 10, and 13mm sockets, clip removal tool, 1/4" drive extension, Phillips screwdriver, and 3/8 drive electric ratchet. Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to uninstall and install our short throw shifter in our Hemi Challenger here, so let's get started. First thing we're going to do in our uninstall is we're going to have to remove our boot and our plastic ring that goes around here that holds it in place. That way we can get access to the bolts down here holding our shifter in, and then we'll be able to remove our console. So you're going to need your clip tool, and we'll get started. We'll remove our plastic here to get our boot off. So now I'm going to take my clip removal tool. I'm going to dig down in here, pop this up. And we're going to just pull it up out of the way. That'll give us access to our 2 bolts down here holding our shifter in place. And now we'll get our ratchet and we'll remove those. So now I'm going to take my 1/4" drive ratchet and my 13mm socket and loosen up our 2 bolts here holding on our shifter. And I'm going to remove these. And just lift that up out of the way, remove our boot and shifter all in one piece. So now we're going to remove the upper part of our console. So what I'm going to do is get back in here and try to get my clip removal tool, plastic trim tool, and get up here and pop this out like that. And you're just going to want to move it around until you get it loose. Now, underneath here, we're going to have a couple connectors that we're going to have to disconnect. What we're going to do with them is pull the little red tab, push the clip, pop this one off, and do the same with this one, push the tab and pop it off. So now we're going to remove inside the console here this plastic piece in the bottom and get that out of our way, which is going to expose 4 8mm screws. I'm going to take my 1/4" drive with a long extension and remove those bolts down inside here. And now I got those 4 all loose. We'll go to the front of the console here and remove 2 Phillips screws we have to get out. So now I'm going to take my Phillips screwdriver, remove our 2 Phillips screws right here. So now we got our 4 bolts out here and our 2 Phillips screws. We got 2 electrical connectors we have to remove. One's here, one's up here. You're just going to push in on the tab, pull it out just like that. So I got my first connector, I'm working on my second one. I just wanted to flip the console upside down so I could see it. You're just going to have to push your little tab. It's kind of be a little bit of a pain, but once you get that little tab clip pushed down right there, it's easier to do it this way. And then you can just remove the console and get the console out of your way. So now we got our console out of the way. We're going to remove our air duct here. Just going to pull up on it like that. Pops this clip out, grab a hold of it, and slide it out from underneath the dash, just like that. So next we're just going to remove this rubber shield. Kind of just lifts up out of the way. Get that out of the way. So now we got 6 10mm right here, these 6 here, and 1 13mm. So I'm going to take my 1/4" drive ratchet with a 10mm and loosen and take these all off. Now I'm going to switch over to my 1/4" drive ratchet because the ones under the dash are a little bit tough to get to. Now that we have those off, I'll switch over to a 13mm here on my 1/4" drive ratchet and remove this nut here, which holds the shifter mount up in the back. And once I have them all off, and out of place. I'm going to push my grommet out of the way here. And then just lift up on our metal plate and remove it. So now once we have our shifter undone with our plate, there's a 13 millimeter here that holds the rod into the bottom of the shifter. We're going to break that loose. I got my 1/4 inch drive on my 13 millimeter. And we're going to take this bolt out here. I have that out, which will drop our rod out between the shifter here, just like that. Next we'll go up in the front here, pull our pins out. So now you have 2 pins, one here, one under here. What I'm gonna do is take my flat blade screwdriver and just pop them up to get the pin out. And just pull the pin out once you get the clip off. Might be a little tricky to see because my hand's down in there. I'm going to do the same with the bottom pin. I'm going to take my screwdriver, just twist it a little bit here, pop the clip out like that. Get down in here. It can be a little tight to get it out, but you're just going to pull the pin out like that. It kind of goes in, the clip goes in and catches it. We're going to keep these pins because we're going to be reusing them. And once you get that done, you'll be able to just pull your shifter right out, and then it's removed. So now we have everything removed, our old shifter. We're going to take our new shifter and start installing it in our vehicle. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our shifter, we're going to slide it down inside, and then we're going to install the fork on the bottom here. Now, with this bushing that we have in here, it's plastic. The manufacturer recommends that if it's really tight fit into your fork, you're going to want to just take some sandpaper and sand this off. I already have taken a little bit off because it was tight. I just tried it. So now we're ready to take it, and I'm going to show you how to put it in the vehicle. So now we're going to take our shifter. I'm going to drop it down inside here like this for now, and then I'm going to get this fork and press down and get our bushing in place here with our fork. And like I said, if it is tight, this one's not too bad right now. You can take some sandpaper, sand that plastic bushing a little bit. I'm actually going to take a Phillips screwdriver that I have right here to line the holes up. I'm going to come in this way and get this in place. Now that I have it pretty close there, I'll be able to start my bolt. This was the old bolt that we took out. Get that started. I'm going to take my 13 millimeter, my 1/4 inch drive ratchet, and tighten this one up. Next, we'll go and put our pins in the front there and get our bushings in place. So now we have our fork and everything in place. We're going to take our shifter here and we're going to press it inside where our bushings fit in there. We're going to take our pins. I'm going to put our pins back in. You might have to move it around a little bit to try to get the bushing lined up. You're supposed to clip up like that. Now we'll do the same on the other side. This one you might not be able to see because it's pretty far in there. I know my hands are in the way, but you're going to have to put the bushing in, put your pin in place. Now we're going to install our back mount right here with these 2 slots. It's going to ride right on there just like that. We'll put it right about there. Now we'll get our top cover, lay that in place, put our nuts on, and start tightening that down. So now I'm going to show you how to remove our boot from our factory shifter. Now this shifter here does give us the option to install our plate in the back here, which will slide into place sort of like that. And you'll be able to use your factory shifter handle if you like it, but it does give you that option to actually install this back onto here. But for our case, we're going to put our new one on. So what we have to do is we have to remove our boot from our shifter. I'm going to take a flat blade screwdriver and just wiggle this up off of here and pop this clip. Get that one out of the way, get that one out of the way. Now once you get them popped out of there, your boot will come up and you're going to have to fish this retainer through your boot like that. Just pull it around and then you can remove your factory shifter, and now we'll be reusing this cover in our boot when we get this all back and assembled. So now we're going to mount our shifter onto our shifter bracket here, and what we're going to do is, if you wanted to use the factory one like I told you before, you just slide this into place, put it in here like this. You would put your bolts through here. You're going to start your longer bolts through there, and they'll hold this in place, and you could actually use your factory shifter. Now in our case, we're not going to use our factory shifter. We're going to take our long bolts here. We're going to bolt this side up, bolt the other side up, and then mount our top part or bottom part of our shifter handle that goes into here, that gets our top to where our ball goes on. So we're going to take this, and I'm going to put 4 bolts in here. Get them started. Make sure you put the lock washers on them. Now we're just going to install them just like that. And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. I'm going to run them all in just finger tight for now. So once I get them all started, leave them a little loose, gives us some room. We're going to take the top of our, or the bottom of our shifter handle. You're going to see it has a round part on this side with the threads, and you have the cutout indent. It's going to go like that, sit down in place just like that. I'll snug these up a little bit, and you're going to get these 4 shorter bolts. I'll put these in place, 2 on each side. I'm just going to run these all in by hand tight. And now I'm going to take my 1/4 inch drive ratchet, my 13mm, tighten these all up. So now we got everything in place here. We're going to install and reinstall this rubber cover. Get that under the carpet. Push it down in place. Pull the carpet away on this side. Put it underneath the carpet. Now we're going to reinstall our duct here for our AC and heat. We're just going to slide that back up into place, push it down in like that, and now we'll install our lower console. Next, we're going to reinstall our lower console back into place, get it sit down in, and we're going to reinstall our electrical connection. We have one under here. We're going to take right here and plug that in. That's that one. And we'll go back under here. It's going to be a little tricky to see. There's that one in place. And just get our wires up here for our upper console. We have some connectors there. So once we get this pushed into place here, we're going to line up our holes for our top here. We're going to take our Phillips screws that we took out earlier, start them up here. One. There's 2. And then in our console here we have 4 bolts we have to start in here, and then we'll tighten these up and tighten our Phillips up. So now I'm going to start my 8mm that we have here. We're going to start these down inside here. Once I got one started, what I'm going to try to do is take my 8mm on my ratchet. I'm going to hold it in place, line it up, get it started, makes it easier. Like I said, it's a little tough to get in there. I even got small fingers, so I'm going to try to get in this one. Once you see the hole, and And what I did was push forward on the console, made it easier to get them started. Now we have those 4 tight, we're going to tighten up our Phillips up front. Now I'm going to run in my 2 Phillips screws. And that secures our console. Now we'll put our upper part on. Now we're going to install our upper part of our console. We're going to reconnect our electrical connector we have here. And then our back one, which was right here. And we'll set our console in place, push it up into the front first. Get it where we want it. Smack it down. Just like that. So now we're going to install our shifter handle. I put my nut on here. This is going to lock our ball down when we get to that point. We're going to take our Allen heads that were supplied with our washers. We're going to stick them in here just like that. We'll stick this one in there just like so. And then this is going to go right on here. And we'll run our bolts in. Now on this shifter, it's going to give you the option to place the shifter in a different position. So you're going to be able to use this to swivel. If you want it straight up down, that's fine. If you'd rather have it more front to pull back, that's good, or back and vice versa. I'm just going to put it in the middle, and I'm going to take my 8mm Allen head here, and I'm just going to run these in and tighten them up. Same with the bottom. So now that we have those tight, we'll start to put our boot back on in place. So now we're going to put our factory boot back on. And what we're going to do with this is it's going to slide over top and come down. And you're going to see this groove that's cut into the shifter. We're going to slide this down till this fits into the groove and go all the way around with it. And once you have it down in place like that and you have it over top, you're going to be able to lift it back up. And at this point, to hold it in place, what you can do is they supply you a wire tie, which you can put around it like this, tie it tight, and put it into that groove and lock it in place. Since we're not keeping this shifter on our car, I'm not going to do it, but that's what you can do to hold the boot over top of that. So once you have the boot in place like that, what we're going to do is just put our trim piece back in place. Now once we have our trim piece in place, the last thing we're going to do is install our ball. We'll screw our nut. Now if you want to get a 5/8 wrench, it's either 5 or 11/16, you can tighten this up, lock it in place wherever you want your ball. And that will wrap up this install. That wraps up this review and install of our Barton Short Throw Shifter with brushed aluminum stick and black ball shift knob for TR660 Trans 09 to 22 V8 Hemi Challengers. Thanks for watching, and for all things Challenger, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.